Welcome to another episode of Women in Focus. Sometimes you meet a person and you make a mental note and say, I'm going to be able to see this person in the next 5 years, and then I will, if I'm doing the program, I'll interview her. And yes, she's that kind of a person. Her name is Paarull JS Bakshi. I came across her name many a times when people were doing concerts, and she would be the one who would be proposing their concerts to us. It's my pleasure to interview her today. Paarull, you're most welcome in our program. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
So from the name and the emails and the stuff that you send, you're such a powerhouse. And now I've said, hello, Paarull, how are you doing? And you're very quietly saying, hello, I'm fine, thank you.
That's right.
Tell me something about yourself. How did you get into the event business?
I do a lot of public relations, events, and promotions. It just sort of happened. So I have a business degree with a major in marketing. So marketing was always my field, but I ended up getting my first contract about, I think, 10 years ago almost, when I had just graduated, and I started then into the media, South Asian media mostly at first.
Yes.
And then it just happened.
You've got connections all over the world, though.
That's correct. Yeah.
And so when you said you were interested in marketing, what aspect of marketing do you like? Market yourself, market other people?
I like a lot of branding. So I like to do personal branding. That's probably my most favorite.
Yes.
So a lot of my clients that I've worked with for years, I do a lot of image branding. So taking their image from what it is now to sort of doing a makeover, as you would say. So that sort of enhances their image in the public eye.
Yes.
And it makes them stand apart from their competitors or whatever. Yeah.
So you are probably interested in the lives of those people and what they're doing.
Yeah.
I guess that's why you're able to sort of work with them and enhance their image.
Yeah.
So what is it that attracts you to them?
Actually, I'm a people person. I like people of all kinds. I make friends really easily. I've always been like that. I have lots of friends. So if I'm traveling, I'll become friends with
person sitting next to you.
Yeah, person sitting next to me. You know, if in India, let's say, I became friends with the chauffeur that was driving me around, and stuff like that. So I easily become friends with people, and then I feel that they put trust in me to handle their profiles. Because it is a very trust-related business.
Oh, it certainly is, because if you are enhancing their profile, obviously they trust you to do that for them.
That's correct. I know a lot of, not only their business, but a lot of their personal lives. And it's very involved because you're handing behind the scenes public relations of them, their family, their business. So it's a very personal type of business. And it is somewhat of a luxury as well.
So is it just people that you like to promote, or is it the companies as well?
I get a lot. I've worked with a lot of different types of professionals, business people, philanthropists, or when I meet a business person I've turned them sort of towards philanthropy because that's something it's close to my heart. I personally like to help other people just out of just the way that I am. So, and I have done it for companies as well, but I like to work with people more.
So is it curiosity when you know about a person?
Yeah.
Or is it they come to you and then you find who they are, what makes them tick, and yes, I will take them or not?
Yeah, so what happens is when I got my first client, after that, I don't do any of my own advertising. It's all word of mouth. So them, their friends, or somebody, they have seen my work or the way that I've done photos for them or ran their campaigns. And that's how I've gotten most of my business. But yes, I'm mostly curious about knowing about how a person reached a certain level of success.
Right.
Yeah.
And so any political people involvement, or is it more entertainment and profiling their business and their
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship.
So I've a lot of business people, some philanthropists, politicians I've worked with as well on certain political campaigns, but then they're short run. So I
Yes.
do a lot of just image branding,
Right.
and handle some PR for them. But again, coming back, a lot of business-minded, entrepreneurial type of clients.
You have to have a inkling for a particular business
Yeah.
or a profession. So as you were growing up, was this your focal point, or did you want to do something else?
I actually have always been attracted towards the media field.
Really?
Yeah,
Yes.
I've always liked it. Even growing up here, I love Bollywood.
Yes.
You know, I like watching Indian movies compared to my siblings, you know. And I like Hindi music, entertainment. So I used my degree, as you would say, my education, and then I combined my passion, and it turned into a business.
It turned into a fantastic business.
Yeah.
You mentioned your siblings and growing up and all that. I want to take you back to your childhood, but let's take a very short commercial break and come back and talk to you about where you grew up, where are you from,
Yeah.
your background, mom and dad, and everything.
Okay.
All right, and I like to find out about people too. So I will dig into that.
Okay, wonderful.
Paarull is our woman in focus today. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Women in Focus. Our woman in focus today is Paarull JS Bakshi. Now, I asked you before we started the program. Paarull, beautiful name. I don't know another Paarull. Okay, and I've usually found that Paarull is a very Gujarati name, but your parents named you Paarull. What does JS stand for?
JS is my dad's name, so Jagdeep Singh. So I was very close to my dad, so I've always kept his initials in my name. So that's my legal name.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
It is a very interesting name.
Yes.
So you look at it and say, what does JS stand for?
That's right, yeah.
So curiosity, right?
That's right.
So where were you born?
I was born in New Delhi, and I've moved here as a child. So my dad was in the Merchant Navy. So as a child, since I was about 2 months old, I started traveling with my parents.
Right.
So traveled pretty much every part of the world. I have baby pictures, not on land, mostly on sea, and in different countries, doing cool things. And then right after that, I think it was, yes, so when I was about 7 or 8 years old,
Right.
we moved here. My dad used to work in Tokyo at that time, but then he transferred to Vancouver.
Right.
And he worked in corporate, doing, working for large maritime industry companies as a
Right.
big executive.
Yeah.
So he used to travel quite a bit for his
Right.
work. Unfortunately, he passed away in 2015.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, and he had, but I do have a scholarship under his name at UBC and in the Marine Engineering and Naval Architecture Department, because that's his field, and he was
Yes.
quite well known in his field.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and my mom is a fashion designer by profession.
Okay.
She's ran businesses in India as well as here, but now she takes it easy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how many in the family?
So I have siblings. I have a brother and a sister. They're twins.
Oh, and they're younger to you?
They're younger than me. Yeah.
And so the three of you.
Yeah.
And so when they were born, were they also traveling with parents to all parts of the world?
Not as much as I did.
Yeah.
They did a little bit, and then they moved here as infants.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, do you remember your life in India? And when you guys moved here, was it different? Were you excited? Because you had traveled so much,
Yeah.
sort of didn't make any.
It didn't make any much
difference.
Yeah, because I always had an international sort of upbringing growing up.
Right.
Just dealing with all sorts of different cultures because of what my dad did
Right.
for work. So it was okay.
It's living in Vancouver. How was it when you were growing up? Did you face any discrimination? Was that part of, your making up your mind as to how you want to do what you're doing right now?
Actually, I've never been discriminated against.
Isn't that just beautiful?
Yeah, I grew up in Ladner, BC.
I see.
I've lived there almost 28 years.
Yes.
Yeah, so I grew up. I went to high school there. I went to elementary school there, high school there, and it's been good. Most people, I've just been blessed by meeting good people. Yes, I've met some bad ones, but mostly good ones. So I think, I don't think my upbringing had anything to do with actually my parents wanted me to become a doctor, and I did my pre-med at a university. And then after the first year I told them I don't think I'm fit to be a doctor.
Why?
And
because you couldn't cut up?
It was not my thing. And I said, in my second year I said, I think maybe I'll just finish a business degree and then we'll call it a day.
How was that taken?
Oh, they didn't take it too well at first, but I think now that my family sees it, now they're like, oh yeah. That's my daughter. Yeah, that's right.
That is lovely. That's very nice.
Yeah.
So give me, obviously you had your heart set on doing marketing and so on and so forth. Your very first client, how was it? How did you find your very first client? Or the very first client found you?
It was actually a referral. Yes, my very first client was Mr. Parminder Chauhan. So somebody referred him to me, and I went up, I met him, and I said, I do this for work, and then he gave me a chance.
Yes.
And I worked diligently on his profile for almost a year.
Yeah.
And since from then on, I've had multiple clients, not in just image branding, but promotions of events, handling celebrities that come from India.
Right.
First, I used to do a lot of volunteer work in the community just to get my foot in the door, and then I started getting paid for what I learned over time.
Was it difficult to ask for money from our community? Because sometimes it is very tough. So you don't have to answer that question. I'll just put it out there.
Most of them have been pretty good.
Yes.
But yes, sometimes it can be a challenge.
Yes.
But I've just learned to set my boundaries and say that I've put in this many amount of hours, or I'm going to put in that many amount of hours, and I deserve to be paid for it.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I've known of you handling, as you mentioned, Mr. Chauhan, people who are in business. And then, when a client of yours who lived in the US brought a comedy show here, and that was a big thing. So how did you get involved with the entertainment business?
Entertainment business? Like I said, I love entertainment. So obviously, I always like Bollywood. So I knew most of the media, and sometimes I used to work behind the scenes on shows and stuff. And then I started they started giving me more work.
Right.
To handle PR, let's say, for that campaign.
Yes.
And I would do it, and they liked my work. So that's how my name got into the promotions business. Right. And there's not very many females handling that.
No.
Not very many females being promoters of some sort. Yeah.
No, I don't know of many.
Yeah.
And in fact, I don't know of any. I know only about you.
Yeah.
So the Bollywood industry is a beast in its own self. Totally different from any other industry.
That's right, yeah.
You feel safe in that?
Yes, because I'm not living in Mumbai or anything. Living here, yes, I do feel safe.
I'm glad that you feel safe,
Yeah.
Let's take a short break and come back.
Okay.
And I have a few more questions about your business. Paarull is our Woman in Focus today. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Women in Focus. Our woman in focus today is Paarull JS Bakshi. She's an event and coordinator also. Marketing is her field. Now, you mentioned that you're interested in people, so you like to promote them, market them. Bollywood is an industry that you've gotten, lately. I've seen you promote a lot of concerts that are coming up.
That's right.
Your dream job, is this your dream job?
I would say yes. It's
Yes.
close to it, yeah.
And where do you want to take it?
I would like to do more celebrity management, maybe do some more celebrity profiling like I do for business people.
Right,
That would be something I would like to do maybe in a few years down the line.
right. So when you take a client,
Yeah.
is it only for Lower Mainland, or do you travel with the client to other places? For example, you just had recently a client that came to our studio as well, and this client deals in Pakistan as well, in India and rest of the world. Do you go with them, or do you promote them in those countries as well?
I do. I can handle PR in different countries, but I haven't had to travel as
With
per
them.
se. Yeah,
I see.
Yeah, for events, sometimes I've traveled locally to do larger events, but
Right.
no. Yeah, I mostly would handle PR from Canada and then handle
Right.
it internationally. Yeah.
So when you handle Canada-wide, do you
Yeah.
have to have connections in each and every city for your client, or how does that work?
So I do know some PR agents in some parts of Canada,
Yes.
some in the States, and then some in India. So that pretty much covers all the clientele that I have,
Right.
mostly North American, or they have ties back in India. So yeah, that's
So
how.
when they want something promoted, do they come to you and say, I need to be promoted in this, sector
Aspect, yeah.
of my
Yeah.
business? So then you do the research in that and then promote them?
So I would usually I start with a lot of media coverage, so
Right.
bringing awareness for whether it's a project of some sort or it's a campaign that they're
Right,
running.
right.
Yeah, so do a lot of media coverage first locally, then Canada-wide, then sometimes North America, and then if they really want, we do some press international.
So which is the most entertaining, or the most favorite client of yours? I mean, is or type is?
I actually worked on a show with Gurjeet Bal on Satinder Sartaaj.
Oh yes.
To this day, it's been my favorite show to work on. I still listen to his songs, and doing all the interviews for him or arranging stuff like that, or the meet and greet. It was just a phenomenal
Right.
experience for me.
So
Yeah.
the client and the promotion that you're doing,
Yeah.
they become a part of your life as well,
They
moving
do.
forward, right?
That's right, yeah.
Then you are impressed by whatever they are doing.
That's
and
right, yeah.
Isn't that an interesting world? And you enter so many different layers of that person's life and their business.
That's right, yeah.
Would you be writing a book about all this? Tell all?
Maybe someday. Yes, there's been a lot of cool experiences. I got to work with Govinda.
That's right.
Yeah, so I mean that was Govinda. I saw on TV, and then when I was working with him, he was doing rehearsals, and just right in front of me, it was surreal.
Right,
How
yeah.
could this happen?
I caught Govinda when he had just started and
Yeah.
became a big name. And him and the young woman that he used to work a lot with, Neelam.
Neelam, yeah.
And I caught them both at a shooting of a film. And what a young professional he was. And of course he's in the meantime gone down, and now he's coming up again.
That's right.
And he's doing a lot of shows in India and outside as well. Out of all the Bollywood actors, you've mentioned Govinda, and singers, you've mentioned Satinder Sartaaj. Who are the other people that you would put in the same category?
That I have worked with.
Yes.
I liked working with Gurdas Maan.
Yeah. Very humble guy.
Very humble. I liked working with Neha Kakkar recently.
Yes.
Gulshan Grover was very good to work with.
Right.
Lots of local singers as well.
Yeah?
Yeah, lots of local singers as well that I've gotten a chance. But I would say those would be my favorite. Yeah.
And when you look at the trajectory of your work, where is it taking you? Have you met Mr. Right yet? Is Mr. Right in your life yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. But you're looking for that.
When it comes, yes.
Non-committal. Okay. All right. Let's ask you, what do you want to do? What actor or what person would you like to promote that you haven't promoted so far, and you're sending feelers about that, not to them, but in your mind?
I would like to work with Sushmita Sen.
Why?
I just like her persona. I like the way she carries herself. I watch a lot of her interviews. I'm intrigued by, the kind of work that she does. She's always really poised, very elegant.
Yes.
I'd like to work with her. And in males, I like Akshay Kumar a lot. I think he's very determined. He puts on a very good show every time there's a new Akshay Kumar movie. So yeah, I think those two.
Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
I see myself growing my business sort of in a way that, I can say that, I've worked with all sorts of different clients, not just in business, not in philanthropy, but other industries as well. I'd like to tap into a lot of entertainment sort of industries like singers, performers, and handle some of their management, celebrity management, brand management.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I would.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Paarull, I am so glad that you and I got a chance to sit down and talk. And I wish you all the best. You're a very determined woman, and in the past 10 years that you've started your business, you've got a name. People, when they say, Paarull is looking after this, they say, oh, well, it must be a very good show.
No, well, thank you. Coming from you, that's really big for me. Yeah.
Thank you for being a woman in focus today.
Thank you for having me.
Paarull Bakshi has been our woman in focus today. Don't go away. We'll be right back.